back. It's great to be here and great to have you with me as always. Today's episode is inspired by an absolutely incredible event I went to last week. I was away for 5 days on what can only be described as a pretty transformational speakers course led by the wonderful Robert Upright and Tony Gargan. And all I can say is a massive shout out and thank you to those guys, because I realised something during that week that had been holding me back. Let me explain. Today, I'd like to talk to you about getting out of your own way. Okay, so this has particular resonance for me because I have spent too many years really making the excuse of not getting out there on social media. Now, I know that you listen to me on this podcast and it has been my safe space, right? I've been keeping myself fairly safe, I guess, in just sharing what I have to say in this way because it feels safe, right? And for whatever reason, I haven't felt or been confident enough, funnily enough, to get out there on social media and actually share my message with a wider audience. So last week, little did I expect that was going to be the result, because I talk about wealth, I talk about freedom, but these come in many different layers. So as I've gone through life, I have come to realise and come to understand that you have to kind of go deeper, the next level, go deeper, the next level, go deeper. And whilst I have experienced massive transformation in my life, there are still other areas that are needing to transform. So this is the next layer, right? So this sense, the newfound sense of freedom I have around actually doing this is, again, what has inspired me to doing this. So I've spoken before about the different layers of freedom. So this is the next one that I'm peeling back for you today. So why might this be important for you? I've said why it's important for me, but for you, think about your life and just that phrase, holding yourself back. Is there anything that springs to mind? Maybe there's a project that you would love to get started, or maybe it's a new hobby. Maybe it's the idea of switching career or starting your own business, something like that. But perhaps you have had, or you've experienced, holding yourself back in some way, either because you don't think that you have the time, or that you have maybe the money or the knowledge or the skills or the right connections or whatever the heck it might be. And I'm here today to challenge you and say, well, what if you could? And what if you found a way? And what if you literally got out of your own way? Because doing something worthwhile takes time, but more importantly, it takes action. But of course, if you are stuck, if you feel like you can't move forward for whatever reason, then what then? Like me with my social media posting, you know, it's crazy now if I think back to it, because we're all on social media. I'm not on there massively, but yeah, I do go on there each day and I do a bit of scrolling and I find some incredibly inspirational posts and some very touching, inspiring things on there. And for me, this is like a revelation, really, because it's like, well, why am I holding myself back from doing that to help somebody else? No. And let's face it, the baseline is that there's always fear involved. Let me know if you resonate with that. Pop it in the comments if you can resonate that you may feel held back in some way because of some element of fear. And for me, that fear has resulted in excuses like, oh, I've got other stuff going on, or I've been too busy, or, I've been overwhelmed by whatever, or I don't have the time, right? We all have the time. Like literally yesterday, I actually got out of my own way, and on my dog walk, I recorded a 2.5 minute, 3 minute little Facebook Live for the first time in a very long time, whilst I was on my dog walk. So what a load of rubbish. I don't have time. So yeah, as you can see, this has made a pretty big impact on me. So I've been thinking about, well, how do you move from being stuck to actually getting out of your own way? So I've come up with a little model for you, and it's something which speaks to me and hopefully will speak to you and will help you in some way. So those 4 steps, I'm going to call it the GROW model. So we're going to start with G, and the G stands for gratitude, because the minute you switch from fear to gratitude, your state changes. If you can think for all the things that you are grateful for in life, even if your life is really quite pants right now, or certain elements are really quite off and not as you like them to be, there will be, not might be, but there are certain things that you can be grateful for. If you have a roof over your head, if you have loving support from somewhere, from a friend or a family member, if you do have money coming in and it actually affords your lifestyle as you have at the moment, then be grateful for that. Perhaps be grateful for your health if you're in good health and you can move freely. There will always be something that you can be grateful for. And I tell you what, that has been one of the biggest kickstarts for me. I am grateful for the things in my life. For my personal situation, I think that the gratitude around social media, I hadn't been grateful for the fact that social media is a platform, a method to be able to share my message with the world and to help and inspire people and have an impact in the way that I would love to do it. I've always seen social media as quite a negative thing, and doom scrolling, and I waste a lot of time on there, and etc. etc. However, now that I actually have flicked that switch in my head, I'm actually very grateful to have a platform in order to do that, in order to share with people my experiences, grow my business, and have a huge impact on the world, which is why I started this business in the first place. So there you have it. So that is the first thing. And I'm just going to take you back now, because I wasn't always in the situation I'm in now. Of course, it's taken me years to get to the place that I'm in at the moment, as you've heard my story in other episodes. But it'll take you back to a time I was at music college. And, it was between the years, I was 18 to 22 when I was at music college. And we had something called performance classes. And this is where we had to get up on stage with our instruments, and we had to do a couple of minute talk in front of our peers and then play something on our instrument. And I tell you what, literally, dig a hole, I'll get in it, ground swallow me up, do not get me up on that stage. And this would happen the minute I knew when I had to do one of these performance classes. And I'm talking 6 weeks, 8 weeks before I had to do it. I felt so nervous. I was, the fear, the dread that entered me was just, it was tangible. It was a visceral reaction that I had. And so I always associated speaking in front of people as a really fearful thing. I really dreaded it. I hated it. And I didn't recognize the importance of it or the health of it, I suppose, to actually get out there and speak in front of people. So I kept myself small. And after music college, I was fairly shy and retiring in terms of what I did. I used to teach, one-to-one, and sometimes small groups of children. I used to teach them. And, I used to play in my music, ensembles and orchestras and etc. But I never had to shine from the front. And then one day, as we'd been building our property portfolio, after a couple of years of doing that, we went on another course. We went actually on a stock trading course, like how to trade the stock market. Okay, right, yeah. Yes, I've been there too, done that, lots of different things. And we were on this particular course, and there was a group of people that we were with, of course, maybe 25 to 30 people. And after the second day, I think it was a 3-day event, after the second day, I got home, I was in bed, and I could not stop my mind going off in all these inspired thoughts, and I was like, oh my goodness me, I want to say this and I want to say that, because we'd come a certain way along our journey, and I just wanted to inspire other people to say that things were possible. So I sat up in bed and I wrote down about 4 pages of notes, and didn't get to bed for another, I don't know, hour or so. Anyway, the next day I was really nervous, but I had this spark inside me, and I went up to the speaker at the back of the room and I said, oh, just wondering, if I can say something for the front of the room. And this speaker was Dr. Roham Weerasinghe. And I don't know if any of you have ever had the pleasure of hearing Dr. Roh, as he's been very fondly known over the years. But he's an amazing guy, absolutely incredible, and has very, very, very sadly recently passed away. But I will always hold his memory close to my heart, because he was the one who gave me the first opportunity to speak from the stage. And I went up on that stage. He gave me like a 10-minute slot just before lunch. He said, I'd like to welcome Hazel to the stage. She's got something to say. And all these thoughts are shooting off in my head. I'm like, oh, very nervous. Anyway, I got up there. I didn't need my notes, because I just spoke from the heart. I just poured it out, in that I just had to say these things to people to let them know that what we'd done, and it was all possible, and we just normal, average, everyday people starting from nothing, and we can do it, you can too, that kind of thing. And I swear to goodness, like not a dry eye in the house, including my own. And that's when I caught the bug. I got out of my own way. Ro gave me the opportunity to speak from the stage, for which I will always be eternally grateful. And that is when I realised that I had a message to share, and that my words were of value and my experiences were of value. And so the level of gratitude that I feel now is immense towards that. And I have and what this week has done has helped me to recapture that gratitude. And so that's why gratitude is so important, and the first step in terms of you getting out of your own way. All right. So that's the G. The R stands for realisations, because the minute you're grateful, you get insights. It opens your mind up to, the realisations of what and how your journey has been structured to this point, and how you can actually get over yourself, how you can go, right, yeah, this happened, and then that's happened as a result, and actually that's just the next step in the journey, and it can just help you to get back on your course, if you like, towards where you would love to be heading. And I just mentioned a word as I was describing the realizations, because the natural flow on from that, the O of the GROW model, stands for being open. And the more open you can be, the more life can flow through you. I don't know if you can relate to that, but if you are open, life put my teeth back in, flows through you. And as a result of that, opportunities also can come your way. Perhaps a chance encounter. I heard it from a few people over the weekend who have been sharing their experiences of the course, and they're just in this more open state, and they are putting themselves out there, and these opportunities are coming their way that weren't there before. And so that minute that you start to get out of your own way, life has a chance to flow. So the W, the fourth letter, is for the word win. Okay, because as these opportunities flow through, and as you're more open, you get these little wins. All these things start to come your way that sort of help you on your journey to getting on to the next step, because it doesn't matter about that entire journey. You don't need to have the whole plan set out. You just need to know the next step. And so it's taking those little steps and, getting out of your own way. All right. And that's what creates the wins and the next step of the journey. So have a think. How are you getting in your own way? I'd love to hear your story, so pop it below, or I'd love to hear how you've been in your own way, and then how you've managed to get over it. Because I think we could all help each other in this respect. And on that front, I'm going to say feel free to join me on social media. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you type in Hazel Decloux, Hazel, then a space DE, then a space KLOE. Have a look, and my latest post is about my crab story. So you might want to go and have a listen to my crab story, which illustrates this point totally. And pop a little comment below there. In any case, thank you for listening to me. And the best time to do this, you might be thinking, well, it's all right for you, you've just been on this course. But I'm hoping that this episode has given you a little bit of a spark, a little bit of an uplift. And the key message I want to get across is to be open, to be free, and to be you, because that's what the world needs. So, leaving you on that thought for today. I'll see you next week.